Very good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the agenda. My name is Toivo Njabela, your host. Tonight on the platform, we are joined by Vetaruhe Kandorozu. He is a presidential candidate for Nudo, the National Unity Democratic Organization, which is going to have its Congress on the 13th of July. And he is one of those that are vying for the position of president, because the incumbent president, Estang, has recently announced that she will not stand for that position. As a matter of fact, even if she was standing, she would have faced this man and others. Thank you, Vetaruhe, for making time.
Thanks, evening twice.
Yeah, wonderful. Good. So, first question. 2020, October, you were expelled alongside, I think, two others from the party. Now, you are in contention to become the president of the party. How did you sneak your way back in?
Yes, I was expelled. In Afrikaans, we call it semir geschoors. So there was no disciplinary hearing. I just received the letter. And then I accepted the letter. I did not petition or object.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the ground as usual for all the politicians.
Yeah.
And then, fortunate enough, due to the spirit of forgiveness that ran around the party, the leadership, the executive committee took a decision to reinstate me without my request, maybe from their own consciousness. And then I accepted the reinstatement.
Yeah.
However, there was condition attached that I will be reinstated, looking at the meaning of the word reinstatement, and then what follows after is that I will come back without position. Because in our constitution, there is a provision that say all former party public representatives are member of the National Council. That would make you automatically qualify for Congress. To be a delegate. So, and then they strapped me that right that I won't be regarded as a former councillor for me not to qualify. So then they have to vote against the constitution. But then I said, it's fine, let me just be an ordinary person. So fortunately, within the constitution, there's also another provision that say new members are not allowed to contest for any party structure for a period of 12 months unless the structure is new. So that's where I got an opportunity to go back to the bush, and then there was one new structure that did not exist before, and that's where I was voted as a branch administrators at the ASAP block district, and it makes me to be a delegate because the coordinator and branch administrators are automatically delegates to the Congress. So by virtue of that,
So why do you think the party wrote back to you to say we want you back?
I think it's, I cannot say it's a pressure from the public. To me, it also caught by surprises. I never thought the current leadership who expelled me will have the audacity to bring me in. But they managed through all the structures up to the National Council, and they brought me in. Of course, I tried to challenge the issue of stripping my rank as a former councillors, but they could not provide me an answer. They refer that issue to Congress to deliberate on it, but then I said, no, it's fine.
So the fact that you did not contest your expulsion, what did that mean? Because politics is your life. You've been councillor for Okakarara for 15 years. You have political blood running through your veins, what did you intend to do with your political life if you were not contesting to get back into the party?
So I knew one day I would come back. I knew that after 5 years, there will be new leadership that will come back. And I was praying that maybe that leadership will bring me back. Then I can contest in 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I regard myself as a Nudo boy. Nudo made me who I am. Nudo gave me the opportunity even to share this platform with you. If it was not for Nudo, I wouldn't be known nationally and internationally. So I thought I cannot fight Nudo because it has done wonders to me. So as a result, I gave them a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Well, why were you expelled?
I was expelled. First time I post a statement on Facebook. I thought it's a freedom of expression on how can political party benefit from Itula factor.
Yeah.
Because by then Itula was an independent candidate and he did not have any parliamentary house to rally behind so that he can access parliament. Then I say, looking at our party number, during last election, the 2019 election, we had like 16,000. So I said, why can't we capitalize and not stand as a presidential candidate, rally behind Itula and engage Itula so that his people can vote for Nudo in order for Nudo to have more seats in parliament, get the money from parliament and build the party, have more presence nationally. So through the government portions that they are giving to each political party. So, and then based on that, it was regarded as I'm putting the party into disrepute, and I don't respect the fact that the Electoral College have already endorsed the current president, Ushua Muinyangwe, and then as a result, I was charged and I was given a punishment of not committing similar crime for almost 2 years. So I think by the end of my term that I have served under that particular punishment, then there was now a primary for constituency councillor election within the party. So the candidate that I was supporting, Mr. Ambrose Munjinjiri, was the winner of that primary. But then without proper due diligence or investigation, the electoral committee or the person that were handling the whole election process, they declared by saying they have detected fake party cards, membership cards, and they assume that those who brought in the fake cards are supporters of Mr. Mujinjiri. So when I questioned the process to disenfranchise Mujinjiri and give over the opportunity to the second runner, who is the current councillor of Kakara constituency, Ms. Honorable Mushavikwa, because he was a second runner-up. So I questioned the process. How did they arrive there? How could they detect that those who came with fake cards voted for Mujinjiri? So by questioning that, then I received the letter.
So what I don't understand, Vetaruhe, is that okay, you had the model that you had in mind around the Itula factor at the time, but Estang Muinyangwe, under whose leadership the party expelled you, went on to become a deputy minister in the SWAPO government, because if the idea of suspending you was to not align with outside forces, how is that different from her becoming a deputy minister?
I think she will be the right person to answer that. To me, it was also, I was surprised, I was shocked, but then as a matter of fact, we all know why she was given the position. So politically, we assume that she was given the position to close the gap of the 2/3 majority SWAPO lost due to Itula participation in that election. So she was brought in that when SWAPO wants to amend the constitution, then they have already voted. And that has already demonstrated when they have elected the speaker of the parliament. Because SWAPO get one vote more and one vote that have abstained. So we assume those 2 votes coming from Nudo based on that offer that SWAPO did to Nudo. But basically it was not a Nudo position. It was an offer given to her because there is the Nudo took or endorsed that decision later. Yeah, after she has already accepted. It was not prior to the time when she was offered the opportunity to be a deputy minister.
Another school of thought, of course, one is that it was to help boost SWAPO's power in parliament in terms of after having lost its 2/3 majority. The other school of thought was that it was to neutralize Estang because she's, of course, she has been one of the front runners around the issue of genocide and those demands for reparations and whatnot. There are those who felt that once she became co-opted into the SWAPO government, that she will be neutralized a little bit in pursuing that matter. What was your own thinking around that offer? Of course, you mentioned the parliament thing, but do you think there's any credibility to the genocide neutralization?
Yes, there is one on the issue of silencing her when it comes to genocide. But as a matter of fact, genocide was already endorsed in parliament. It was under discussion. It was already referred to the executive for implementation. But of course, she was very vocal when she was outside. So maybe strategically or politically, she was given that offer because you could even realize her when during the SONA sessions, she was not radical enough. She was not revolutionary the way we used to know her when it comes to the issue of genocide. Until at the time when the late Comrade Hake said, but you have access to my office, why don't you just come to me and then we talk over the table? So that was it was a silence mode and then she was packed. So since then, she was transferring that responsibility to question the president during SONA to the SG or to Mr. Kadonkominya, who is the member of the National Council. So that can be true, that SWAPO also succeeded in silencing her. And as a result, the joint declaration was signed, and we never had that enthusiasm voice from Parliament, from her. And all it went against the affected communities. So the negative impact that she did by accepting that position, it has been felt widely by the affected community and the Namibians at large. Yeah.
So at the time of your expulsion, and I don't want to make it about Estang Mwinyangwe, but I think it's important to get this out of the way. She said at the time to the media that Mr. Kandorozu was expelled because he could no longer be trusted to represent Nudo's interest. But here is Mr. Here is Vetaruhe now trying to become president of the party that she says you can never represent interests of Nudo. How do you answer to that?
Yeah, but that was her, not Nudo position. But then you have the masses.
Yeah.
They have spoken. They are going to nominate me, to second me, and then to vote for me. So, and the good thing is that those who voted for me during the last Congress, they're still there. They're still delegates. They're coming to the Congress. And that's why even I have availed myself to be the candidate. So, but the issue of the trust, I think it was just a political statement. I don't feel offended for that. But as a matter of fact, we are family, and maybe also she have swallowed the bitterness or the anger about my behavior, because some leaders, they don't want to be challenged.
Yeah.
They feel offended. So, but that's my weakness. I like to challenge. I will ask you. But then sometimes it gives me credit. Sometimes it disadvantages me also at the time. Yeah.
So in 2019 at the Congress of Nudo, and Nudo historically is a very patriarchal party, if you like. I mean, the facts are there. Of course, to Nudo's credit, it was the first party to elect a female president. But other than that isolated event, it's predominantly a men party. So if you couldn't beat a woman in 2019, how are you going to beat the 4 men that you're up against this time around? 5 if Bere Rukoro succeeds in making it.
Yes, the patriarchy thing, it has been brought in by the fact of the traditional background that for quite some times the traditional chiefs were the leader of the party.
Yes.
And traditionally, men are only the one given the opportunity to be the chiefs of our community. So, but don't forget that behind her, there were a lot of men also pushing her agenda. And their conviction for pushing her was she will be a good fighter for the case of genocide. That was one of the voice, the motivation. And because I was not part of the group that were fighting the genocide issue, she was brought in to fight me out, to push me out of the system, because I don't have a proper voice to fight for genocide, of which I disputed. I thought I can fight any case that is brought to me with merits. So, but now she succeeded because there were men behind her. Now I think the fight will be very easy because all of us are now men, and I feel very pity that this time around we don't have a woman to continue the legacy that was put or left behind by Ms. Muinyangwe. So, and we are still persistent that maybe even the position of the vice president must be taken by a woman. So the issue of patriarchal and matriarchal is still in existence in Nudo. So we'll still push for more women to come. So she set the record. I'm very proud of her. That was a very good opportunities, but unfortunately she could not maintain the pressure of the patriarchal cultures because of some decision that she took that men could not feel comfortable about it. Yeah.
So you just alluded to the fact that traditionally Nudo has been led by paramount chiefs for Baherero. From 1964, it was paramount chief Hosea Kutako and then Clemens Kapoor from until at least 1978, after which Chief Kwame Rivalry took over. And those leaders, of course, by virtue of being traditional leaders, they have also enjoyed good support to carry the party. The first time that the party got someone that is not a traditional leader, she's already quitting now. Vetaruhe is here saying he can take over, he can walk in these big shoes of the Kapoors, of the Kutakos and the Rivalrys. Are they not too big shoes for you to fill?
I think when they took the position, more especially Kapoor and Rivalry, they were around my age. I'm turning 50 years old this year. So I think I'm big enough to penetrate those shoes or to enter or to wear those shoes. Yeah. But you know, the issue of Nudo, it's coming from the background of the war of resistance that led to the liberation struggle.
Yes.
Now, the overall people that fled to Botswana, they, through Seretse Sekama connection with the South African politics, he met Michael Scott. So then they presented their case. Frederick Mario presented their case while they're in Botswana. Then he, Kama and Fredericks connected Michael Scott to Hosea Kutako in Namibia, who was representing the community. He was mobilizing and getting the political vibe for their voice to be heard. So then the advice of Michael Scott when he met the late Paramount Chief Hosea Kutako was, in order for you to be heard, you cannot do through traditional or chief council traditional, you must have a political party. So that's why the formation of SWANU came in.
Yeah.
It was because of that line. And that's where the liberation struggle now started, through that advice and through the presentation of the survival of the genocides. Now, so this, and then the first petition was also written by the traditional leaders through the chief council. So as a matter of fact, SWANU was created, but then there was misunderstanding between chief council and SWANU. So that's why Nudo was created, to be the voice of the chief council. And also the chief Hosea Kutako also sent some delegates of youth to go to Botswana so that they can join the likes of Sam Nujoma, Karina, and my father, Kodongwidi. And these people, they could not get connected through international support because they did not have a political cards. So that's why Nudo was also came into being. So as a result, I'm trying to come into those shoes so that now we can modernize the voice and also change the picture that Nudo, even though it was created by the chief council, then it was a political atmosphere of that era. But now it can accommodate almost everybody. Either you are in a traditional setup or you are not in a traditional setup, because the socio-economic challenges that is facing us today, it doesn't need you to be a traditional leader in order to advocate. Anybody can do it. So those are some of the motivation that I thought, with my experience, with my connection, networking in politics. I served the community for 15 years. Why, if the community wants me and they have trust in me, why can I not take the challenge and maybe we will change Nudo presence in the political spectrum of Namibia?
Wonderful. We go for a break and be back in a short while with Vetaruhe Kandorozu.
month-end magic time at WB. Get 4 Knorr 50-gram soup packs for just $19.99. 2-liter WB HB cooking oil for only $64.99. 1-liter Clover Ultra UHT milk for $19.99. 750-gram Cross and Blackwell mayonnaise for $37.99. And 1 kg Jungle Oats for just $39.99 when you use your Smart Buy card. See more unbelievable deals at www.vurmanbrock.com. We care.
Irongo Med is a leading distributor, working in partnership with NewMed and WestMed to meet the comprehensive needs of the Namibian healthcare sector. As a partner pursuing sustainable global healthcare, we offer industry-leading medical solutions through our key focus areas, which include pharmaceuticals, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgical devices and capital equipment, as well as a well-established scientific laboratory division. In healthcare, Irongo Med is committed to making a difference. What about you?
We continue our conversation with Vetaruhe Kandorozu. He is a candidate for the presidency of Nudo. Now, the 2019 was your first time that you gave a shot to the position of presidency. What lessons did you learn from 2019 that you want to avoid this time around? You are older and cleverer this time around.
What I have learned is making sure that your delegates, you keep it very close to you.
Are you going to keep them on a farm like Swapo did in 2022?
Yeah, not really, but yes, there's big possibility because these people, you need to educate them, you need to prepare them, because Congress is not easy. It's very big because we are going to have around about 700 delegates, which is very big even for Nudo. So these people need proper accommodation. We need to provide proper accommodations to them. They need to have proper meals. They need to be orientated on the processes of the Congress, the issue of the constitutions, because some of them, they never participated at the Congress of that magnitude. So people that you have same interest, same conviction, same aspirations, there's nothing wrong for you to come at the same place and prepare yourself for the victory, because that's what they want. So to keep them I can even hire a hotel, keep them there. We drove from there, we hire a bus, take them to the Congress venue. We participate in the program. And during the election time, I hope this time we are not going to miss any delegate that will be omitted from the master list and so on, because that was one of the challenges also. So this time we'll make sure that our delegates are in attendance, 100%. And the good thing is that also we don't want to create the issue of slate politics. We, even as I'm speaking now, the person whom we want to be the vice president, it's I can even share, it's Alvera Tron, the former mayor of Hopapes. We even never met, but from the presentation of my other comrades, she qualified to be the vice president. The person whom we chosen to be our treasurer, it's a former banker, Mr. Pro Riatfa. He was also an executive, a treasurer for NFA long time back. So he don't belongs to any group. He wasn't there. So he was just brought in by individuals. So as a result, and we might also not be together in the caucuses because they don't belong to any of the slates. But then we need to educate, why are we bringing them in? Yeah, so these are some of the issues. Even if Barry Rukoro was not standing for the position of the president, we could also even offer him another position so that we pull together in the same direction and we run the party. We present completely different materials to the Namibian nation. So that's what we want.
Yeah. Joseph Kawandenge will be probably your biggest competitor. He's already Secretary General of the party. Does that give him an advantage over you because he's an administrator? He's already pulling strings by virtue of his position.
Yeah, it's very pity that he have pull out or throw the towel during the last minute. I thought he would be contesting with all of us. But maybe it was also a good thing for him. It's an experienced politician. He has been there. He grew up in politics. Maybe he calculated the issue of delegates is very important, and also decided to hide the embarrassment that maybe the same one that I went through. And he pulled it out so that he can only administer the Congress fairly, and also not to be accused of being influenced, impartial, partial, or whatever words. So it was a good decision that he took, but we still need him, and we hope, with the assistance of the Congress Organizing Committee, they will organize a very good Congress now that he's not involved. And I'm also inviting those who thought will rally behind Kawandenge now to rally behind me, because I think I'll be one of the potential and the most important candidate, looking at the CV of the rest of the candidate. So, but it's very pity that he decided to. But if there is any other opportunities and we grow the party, one can still bring him in and advise and assist.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is your vision for Nudo? It's a, by numbers, it's a historically important party, but which has struggled to grow. And not only in numbers, but also beyond its tribal boundaries. How do you make Nudo a more national party with good performances in the south, in the northwest, and everywhere else?
First, I think we need to tell the nation about our political ideology. Yes, there is issue of genocide, land, unemployment, education, agriculture, the issue of food security. But then we need to look at the populace, the youth that are in majority. What do they want? Do they mind about genocide? Do they mind about land? And looking at how NEF is now appearing, the appearance of NEF is completely different because they have changed their approach into radical. But is it that what we want? Is it that what Nudo need to drive to? So we need to sit together, have proper manifesto, bring in experts that are sympathizers to Nudo, members of Nudo, draft the petition or the manifesto, have a strategic plan for the party, look at the issue of the branding. Branding is also very important because it captures attentions. So, and then change the way we behave, the way we do things, so that we can respond to stimuli, we respond to what the voters wants to hear from different political parties. So now we have an opportunity where SWAPO is no longer in demand. And now we're also benefiting from the South African election spin-offs. So that the impact that the former liberation struggle movements are losing their credentials. So how do we benefit from that South African factor, the MK factor? Where is our space? So that's where we want. Where are we? Where is our presence at tertiary institutions? Why we don't have a branch at UNAM, at NAST, at Trafford College? So those are the areas. And then we need to have branches. We need to go to the south. We need to be in the north. We need to be in northeast, not only concentrating on the predominant Oshi-Herero block only. You cannot, we are already in a minority. You cannot run a country with a traditional block. You need to diversify. You don't have any other option. So, but then we need to articulate issues that the Namibians wants to hear. If we are not articulating those issues, we won't get the undecided vote, the sympathizers, the frustrated voters. We need to see how do we grab those voters.
Absolutely. Now, like you said earlier, Nudo is always in close proximity with the traditional leaders of Herero. Now we have a situation where we have two men both claiming to be the paramount chief of Herero. And I think those leaders have historically proven, not this specific two, but the paramount chief has always proven critical to Nudo. Which of the two men between Mr. Kashiwa and Professor Kashiwa and Dr. Vetaruhe are you going to rely on for your vote, for your support?
I will rely on both of them because both of them, they have strong followers that are members of Nudo. So in both factions, there are also very strong team that are also supporting me. So both of them, they belongs to me. So the issue of the legitimacy, that's one is pre-judice because it's been handled by the judiciary. I cannot go into there, but I don't have problem with both of them because I'm not into traditional setup. What I want is to offer them a platform that either one of them can use to advocate for the issues that is affecting their community or their groups. So that's what I'm interested in. It's not to see who's who above who. So I'm ready to serve both of them at the same times, even though 1 year I will attend this event, the next year I will attend this event, but then I will also want their followers also to accept that I'm not siding with who or not siding with who. I'm just presenting an open blanket to everyone because my votes are there. And I need to go to the votes. I need to go and share my appreciation, the sympathy that they have voted for me, that they have delegated their rights for me to represent them. So I'm ready to serve both of them.
Absolutely. What makes Nudo a better prospect, a better vehicle for particularly Oshiro-speaking people? I know that these are national parties, but which are entrenched within that community. And there's always a battle between Nudo and PDM in that space. What makes your party better?
Our party is better because we have a backbone of a traditional communities. We are not going to run around looking for a backbone like a headless chicken. We are stable. So therefore, our movement to penetrate other areas, it has an identity where we are coming from. So people will know who we are, and we will also be able to present ourselves what we want and where we are coming from. We have that background. So, and in order to start, and also we need to be very, very open-minded, very liberal. So we need to see how do we calibrate between being conservative and being liberal political party, so that we can also start to accommodate other communities. So as I said earlier, the type of message that we are articulating to the public, it must not be seen as coming from a Herero bloc. It must be seen as coming from a Namibian who is there to represent us, whether he is a Damara, a Herero, or a Nama. It first, a Namibian picture must present over the person who is listening, the person who is looking at you. So if we minimize the issue of tribalism, because people that are also not joining Nudo because he's a Herero, they are being tribal.
Of course.
And also those that are not accommodating others because they are not Hereros, they are also being tribal. So we have a lot of work to do in order to break the barriers, so that we open a floodgate and have more members on our side, from either from PDM or from SWAPO, because mind you, twice, Nudo is getting, let's say, 5,000 votes during election in Okakarara constituency. SWAPO is getting 2,000. PDM is getting 1,500. We go to Onayena. SWAPO is getting 10,000. Nudo is getting 10 votes. So the situation that I want to change, first within this block, is to minimize the votes of SWAPO. SWAPO in Okakarara must only get 100. So if we cannot win that, those people that are in closer proximity, that can be attracted by our magnet, if we cannot win it, then we have a long way to go. You go to a Pokiro where there is Bandero communities. SWAPO is dominating there. But these are our brothers and sisters. Why are they not voting us? So that calibrations, we need to find out how do we circumvent the current status quo for these peoples to migrate to Nudo, to start understanding who we are, why are we there? Are we there for them, or we are only there for Oshiro speaking community? So we need to have a very good design of our strategies on how to win the votes, either from SWAPO or from PDM.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you make of the 28th of May being declared the Genocide Remembrance Day? There's been a lot of divergent views on that. What was yours?
The issue was in Parliament. Parliament is one of the decision-making structure that we have. We have judiciary, we have Parliament, we have executive. The Honorable Ma Berwa came with a proposal of 28th of May. Looking at, we have a lot of days. We have the 2nd of October, that was the day when the extermination order was issued. We have the 22nd of April. The second was for Vaherero, 22nd was for Nama. Now, genocide is very complicated issue. There's no one day where you say genocide happened. The water well was poisoned. That's tantamount to genocide. People were driven to the desert to die of thirst. They were driven to go to Botswana, South Africa, Angola. Many asylum seekers were accommodated in Ondonga, and then the concentration camp was one of an event that have killed a lot of the Ochihereros and Nama-speaking communities, and of course other smaller nations. So going to the concentration camp of Swakopmund, if you go there, you will see the graves. You come to Karibib, Windhoek here, where there is a museum, there was a concentration camp. You go to Lutherets, there was a concentration camp. So it was also part of the genocide. These are all activities that qualify to call there was a genocide in Namibia. So what Mamberwa presented, I think he tried to accommodate all these activities and events together, because 28th of May, that was the order to close off the concentration camp and free
everybody.
Even though there were some funny behavior after the closure of the concentration camp. I think that one was not under the leadership of the Germans that took the decision that closed the camp, free everybody. So for me, of course, the parliamentarian standing committees, they went to the regions, and Okakarara, I was facilitating that committees that was chaired by Honorable Karupu. Bernard Swartboy was also a member of that committee when he was a backbencher then, and Okakarara presented the 2nd of October as the day for genocide. However, we were outnumbered by other regions. So in democracy, what do? We just have to accept the 28th of May and then we move on. The most important thing is to push for the school curriculum and the syllabus. There must be a comprehensive writings and education about genocide. Ohamakari, the Battle of Ohamakari, there is a cultural center at Okakarara where we commemorated the 100 years of genocide. It's underdeveloped. Government haven't pumped in the money. I think you haven't been at Odombudo Vindimba in Oshinene because there's no presence of government there. Money need to spend there. Shark Island, Swakopmund. So when it comes to genocide issue, our government have put it under the carpet. They haven't done anything when it comes to Herero and Nama genocide. I think this is not an opportunity to say, the National Heritage Council, please set up a budget, see what you can do for the survival, for the descendants of the survival of genocide. The issue of land, and even if I go to Parliament, I'm going to move a motion so that we can review the affirmative action policy, so that also for us, the descendants, who are the minority, to be given preferences. Now you have a situation in one ministry, from the the ED up to the director are all from one tribe. Why can't we say, okay, now, like we are doing with women empowerment, now let's bring in a Nama, let's bring in a Damara, let's bring in a Herero also. The issue of land, first we must target the people who lost land, who were dispossessed. So, and I want the other Namibians not to be greedy, to accept that these people were driven. Do you know what is the meaning of the word reserve, reservate, where we are going? So when the people get out of the concentration camp, the Germans collected the fertile land. So when our people went back, they found a German soldier there. And these people were made to be the cattle header of their own cattle that were confiscated by the German soldier. But then in 2020, in 1920 up to 23. Then the South African regime that took over in 2015, they said, this fertile land is for the European settler.
Yeah.
We have reserved you that land in Aminus, Epukiro, Oshinene, Okakarara, Korihas. So please go there. So that area was gazetted in 2003. So it was a reserve land for the natives, for the owner of the land. So therefore, the non-victims of genocide first need to understand and say, yes, let's save them first before we are saved. So that's now the drive that wants to go in order to have equitable distribution of resources.
Absolutely. Vetaruhe, thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, you must go and crush everybody there at your democratically, of course.
Yes,
not physically, but all the best in your campaign.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. That's
good.
Vetaruhe Kandorozu. He is a Nudo presidential candidate, or he aspires to become the president of Nudo come the 13th of July when the party holds its elective congress. Thank you for watching.